Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Remember, the only sponsor for this channel are the programs linked down below on building your wealth. Let's get into the program. No, I did not buy a plane to remind you about the coupon code expiring tonight for the programs on building your wealth.
If you've ever watched Meet Kevin, you're well aware of his infinitely running coupon codes. In basically every video, he'll tell you that he's running a massive coupon code for his programs on building wealth. And if you want to take advantage of this coupon code, you should buy it as soon as possible. But the reality is that the second that the current coupon code expires, he'll have another one in its place. It'll probably be for his grandmother's birthday or for Leif Erikson Day. At this point, his subscribers have become well aware of this tactic, and it's pretty much become a meme. You can basically go to any of his videos and you'll see a bunch of comments making fun of his coupon codes. It's basically like the boy who cried wolf. When you constantly have coupon codes running, no one's gonna take them seriously. You might as well just price your product lower permanently and have no coupon codes, right? Well, it turns out that there is actually some truth behind Kevin's strategy. You see, Kevin is by no means the only one using this strategy. Likely the biggest culprit is big box retailers. If you search for jeans on Kohl's, for example, you'll see that virtually every offering is 30 to 50% off. You can see a similar trend with Macy's, JCPenney, Dillard's, and basically any mall outlet that you can think of. It's not just these normal people stores that employ this strategy either. Higher end stores like Hugo Boss are even more guilty of this. Take this regular fit suit, for example. Apparently, the original price is $895, but you can get it for 50% off for no reason in the middle of February. Must be a Valentine's Day sale. As you can see, the retail industry is full of this crap, whether you look low or high. And while it's easy to write off Kevin as a flip-flopping salesman, writing off these retailers is not as easy. Hugo Boss, for example, spent 80 million euros on marketing within just the first quarter of 2022. So I think it's safe to say that they know what they're doing. They've made the conscious decision that running these infinite sales are worth the reputational hit. In fact, one of these retailers even tried pricing their products more honestly, and their revenue ended up going down, and they even went bankrupt. So here's why this pesky sales strategy is so effective, and why it's in Kevin's best interest to continue running these coupon codes despite the public backlash. Taking a look back, the origin of modern pricing strategies can be traced back to the mid-1800s. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, and cookie-cutter department stores were replacing mom-and-pop shops across the Western world. Unlike the mom-and-pop shops, these department stores carried hundreds, if not thousands of different products. Trying to do the good old barter with each and every customer was not only inefficient, but also unreliable. After all, one bad cashier could destroy your profit margins. So retailers decided to start implementing fixed prices across all their locations. In our modern, non-confrontational world, this would be seen as a blessing. You no longer had to haggle with your cashier every time you went to the grocery store. But back in the day, fixed pricing was seen in a much more negative light, as people felt that it took away their bargaining power. Nonetheless, as these department stores became ubiquitous, fixed pricing became the standard. At first, this was great for retailers. They didn't have to worry about training staff in marketing, and they could pull out the fairness card against any customer who wanted a deal. They could simply say, "Sir, if we gave you a deal, it would be unfair to all of our other customers. So, in good conscience, we can't do that." In reality, a good conscience has nothing to do with it. But this was a great scapegoat for dealing with tough customers. The golden days didn't last forever though. While these retailers were able to simply steamroll over family businesses, they couldn't do the same against other retail giants. They all had massive budgets, marketing campaigns, and identical pricing, so it became extremely difficult to stick out. Enter coupons. If JCPenney couldn't stick out with their shopping experience, maybe they could stick out with their prices. There was two fatal flaws with this idea though. First of all, retailers didn't actually have very big margins to begin with. Macy's, for example, has a net margin of 3 to 5%. so there was no way that they could profitably run the massive 30 to 50% discounts to get people in the door. And even if they could, why should they have to sell their products for a cheaper price when Sears across town was charging MSRP? So retailers decided, why decrease the sale price when you could just increase the MSRP? Consumer protection laws meant that they couldn't just outright lie or mislead customers about the MSRP. So retailers had to come up with some pretty clever strategies to cover their butts. For example, they might offer a pair of jeans for $100 in some remote location in Montana. And now they could advertise in New York that $50 for those same jeans is 50% off. This strategy tapped into our inner FOMO and our deep desire to feel special and exclusive. And before you knew it, customers were lining up outside these stores, trying to take advantage of these great one-time discounts. These constant flash sales did wonders when it came to getting people in the door. But people would eventually start to notice, right? And when they did it, their opinion of said retailer would just go down, right? Well, yes and no. People did begin to notice, very quickly actually. But their reaction wasn't what you might expect. On one side, yes, people did become numb to sales and they started feeling, why don't these retailers just put up more honest pricing to begin with? But this numbness led to another, much stronger feeling as well. Given that everyone is doing deals all the time, it's not worth buying products that are notorious for this, like clothing and kitchen items for MSRP. It's probably just a week or two until that product goes on sale itself, and they could just buy it then. In other words, discounts had indeed lost all meaning, but a lack of a discount very much had a meaning. A lack of a discount meant that the given price was a ripoff. And given that this strategy has been ingrained in our culture for several decades now, all of us feel this to a certain degree. I mean, it's no coincidence that Black Friday sales have grown to encompass the entirety of the fourth quarter. And it's not random that Amazon suddenly has 2 Prime Days per year. The reality is that, though seemingly useless, these arbitrary discounts drive sales, and a lack of them drives losses. And this isn't just some sort of marketing theory that's taught in business schools either. Ron Johnson's disastrous reign at JCPenney has given us real-world data. You're probably not familiar with Ron himself, but I'm sure you're familiar with his work. Ron is the architect of the Apple Store. He joined Apple in January of 2000 as Senior Vice President of Retail Operations. And by the time he left, he had propelled Apple stores to $4,032 per square foot annually. So clearly, this guy knew what he was doing, and that's why JCPenney would hire him as CEO in late 2011. Ron was given the task of transforming JCPenney, and almost immediately, he was drawn towards their constant markdowns. Like most of us, he felt that this was the 21st century. The internet was a thing. People can price check on the go. So why keep up these brain-dead list prices? Well, the answer was seemingly no reason at all. So Ron went ahead and eliminated all markdowns across the entire company. Instead, he introduced fair and square pricing, which is exactly what it sounds like. He also eliminated the use of 99 in price tags. Surely, none of us are stupid enough to base our purchasing decision on these arbitrary deals or 1 cent, right? If anything, consumers should appreciate the transparent pricing. Oh, how wrong he was. Within just 12 months, same-store sales would decline 25%, and the company would end up losing $1 billion. Ron's performance was so bad that it was literally the worst performance of any retail CEO ever. And this blunder would put JCPenney on the track towards their eventual bankruptcy. I don't think you'd be surprised to hear that Ron was fired just 4 months later. But what went wrong? The main factor that Ron had failed to consider was the radically different objectives of Apple stores and JCPenney outlets. Here's the thing, iPhones sell themselves, and people who go to Apple stores have usually already made up their mind. They're there to buy or they're there to browse. There's not very many people who are on the fence. So the entire point of Apple stores is to simply create an enjoyable shopping experience. Meanwhile, JCPenney is trying to sell extraordinarily oversaturated products in massive upscale locations. Shoppers at JCPenney aren't usually there with intention. Many of them are just strolling around the mall and decided to stop by. So JCPenney has to work very hard to get these strollers to become customers. The same case can be made about iPhones as well outside of Apple stores. If you go to AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile, you'll see dozens of deals, trade-in discounts, and of course, aggressive salesmen. Selling YouTube courses is much closer to JCPenney than it is to Apple. People are watching YouTube videos in their leisure time. They want to be entertained and maybe informed, but they're definitely not jumping up and down about the prospect of buying a $1,700 course. We should also mention that basically every finance YouTuber has their own money course and their own YouTube course and their own trading course. So Kevin not only has to convince a casual viewer to buy an expensive product, but he has to convince them to buy his product over someone else's. Enter coupon codes. Offering a quote-unquote $1,700 course for $500 accomplishes two things. First of all, it creates a sense of urgency. People who watch Kevin regularly know that another coupon is just around the corner. But new viewers will naturally feel that they have a limited time to take advantage of this opportunity. We should also mention that out of his regular viewers, the people who are willing to buy his course have probably already bought it. So a coupon code or a lack of a coupon code wouldn't really sway his regular viewers in any one direction, but it does wonders with new viewers. Aside from creating urgency, the listing price also creates a high price anchor. If you're judging the course based on just its content, you might feel that it's only worth $50. But since you're given this initial price of $1,700, $500 seems a lot more reasonable. Even if you're looking for a more aggressive deal, you'd likely be aiming for $400 or $300, not $50. And let's just say this strategy has worked extraordinarily well for Kevin. You can argue all you want about marketing strategies and brand perception, but something you can't argue with is results, and Kevin's got the best results in the space, period. Graham Stephan, for example, is the largest finance YouTuber with over 4 million subscribers, and in 2021, he made $6.1 million, which is an extraordinary amount of money. Meet Kevin, however, has less than half of Graham's subscriber count, yet he was making $3 million per month in 2021. Not to mention, he now owns a private jet. Now, let me be clear here. This is not an endorsement of Meet Kevin or his courses. It's simply a discussion about how effective his coupon code strategy is, despite the fact that he's always offering one. The bottom line is that, while annoying, it's effective, and the only thing we can blame is our own psychology. At the end of the day, Kevin is just using the psychology of money to sell a course about the psychology of money. Along those lines, I have a question for you. Would you buy jeans that aren't on sale? Comment that down below. Also, drop a like if you would like to help my psychology. And of course, consider checking out our Discord community to suggest future video ideas and consider subscribing to see more questions logically answered. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.